y'all, it's Taylor, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to cope with difficult feelings without using food. No binging, no overeating. How do you do it? Be sure to click the link down below. I've got 2 free ebooks there. One is a raw food recipe book and the other is a book on Reiki, both of which I will be sharing more about how those 2 things can help with the emotions. So many people are attracted to a raw vegan diet and improving their diets, their food choices, and end up having a lot of emotional detox, a lot of difficult feelings come up as we make better choices and aren't stuffing ourselves with foods that actually activate the dopamine pathway in the brain, the same reward center that is activated by alcohol and drugs. When we stop consuming these foods, things can get really hard. All the feelings come up and we feel them. I know for me personally, this has been a huge struggle. I've had to learn how to cope with these feelings. In order to do so, I traveled all around the world. I tried out lots of different things, many different spiritual paths and recovery programs and psychotherapy and medication, all kinds of things. And I encourage you to try different things too. But today I'm going to share with you my 7 top tips for how I deal with difficult emotions as of right now today. Number 1 is Reiki. Reiki in the morning, Reiki in the day, Reiki whenever I need it. I give myself treatments and it really helps when I'm feeling stressed, depressed, anxious, overwhelmed, pretty much anything, angry. I can either just give myself a self-treatment. Sometimes I also do Reiki guided meditations and invocations, Reiki journeys. I will post a link down below where you can check out some Reiki journeys. Those guided meditations are beautiful. Even if you do not have Reiki, you can do those Reiki guided journeys and they're very helpful. It's something I'd like to offer on this channel after I do my Reiki master training. Number 2 is sharing with friends and family. This one is pretty obvious, but it is so helpful and so essential. Without support, things get tough and we don't have anyone to talk to, or maybe we're not opening up. I know I'm the queen of that. I like to have everything together and not put any kind of emotional burden on anyone else and just hold it all on my shoulders. And ultimately, that is not healthy. That's not realistic. That is not a good idea. So finding someone you can talk to and can trust. You may be surprised by the people in your life who are very open and very supportive to hear what you have to say. We have a need to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. So just being able to share with someone else without them trying to give you advice or anything like that, though they might, you don't have to take it. You can if you want. But just sharing your pain and your story and what's going on for you can be really helpful. And that is such an important thing to do. Number 3 is to make sure your physical health is actually good, that everything is in good working order. One good way to check up on that is by having blood work done. I know recently, actually, I was having a lot of depression and anxiety coming up to the point where I was actually having some suicidal thoughts, which I had not had in a very long time, and that was very scary because that's really dark. And I know I'm normally a very happy person, very upbeat and positive, was having really dark feelings and thoughts and knew something was going wrong. It turned out my thyroid was having a major flare-up. An autoimmune response was going on. My thyroid was attacking itself. All my blood work was like insanely bad. You can check out my thyroid videos to learn more about that. Now it's stabilized. I made some changes, which I talk about in those videos, and I'm feeling a lot better. So checking up on your physical health, obviously if you're trying to change your diet, you're interested in being physically healthy, but there might be something specific going on that is causing even more difficult feelings, or escalating them to the point where your life is actually in danger. So checking in with some blood work, just making sure everything's okay, can also be very, very helpful, because we are holistic beings after all. Tip number 4 is to make sure you are eating enough food and that the food is real. If you've switched to a healthier diet, you might need to start eating bigger portions of food to make sure you're actually getting enough calories. It might feel like you're eating, you're only getting 1,000 calories. Well, of course, you're going to be hungry. A lot of difficult feelings are going to come up, and you're probably going to end up binging because you weren't having enough in the first place. So I recommend tracking your calories. If you are dealing with a lot of emotional eating and overeating, look into that. Give it a day or 2 or a week. See where you're at. Make sure it's realistic and actually matches what you need, what your goal weight is or maintenance weight is. Make sure those two are equating. You're eating enough calories to either maintain your weight, lose weight, reach your ideal weight, whatever it is, gain weight if that's what you need. So making sure you're eating enough and that it's actually healthy food, which we'll talk more about later. Number 5 is to make sure you're doing other things that you actually enjoy. If food is your only source of pleasure, then of course you're gonna wanna binge, you're gonna want more pleasure. So trying out different hobbies, following up on different interests you may have, making sure you're including things in your life that you enjoy other than food, and that food isn't your only reward and isn't your only source of pleasure. Now is the time to take up painting if you've always wanted to learn how, or to start making mala beads or jewelry, whatever it is that might be fun for you to try out. Go ahead and do that. That'll really help. Which brings us to number 6, exercise. Better yet, exercise in nature, exercise outside in the sun. Even better yet, best yet, is to exercise outside with someone else, or with a dog or horse or animal, like including animals and people outside while you're moving your body. That is just going to release so many endorphins, give you a lot of pleasure, a lot of benefits, so that food is not your only way to cope with the difficult feelings. Changing your environment, getting outside. I know when I'm feeling really stuck and overwhelmed and overloaded, I know it's time to go outside, go for a walk, go walk my mom's dogs, talk to a friend, hike with a friend, something like that is really, really helpful. Even going by yourself is good if you have no one to go for a walk with. But if you can, enlist the support of a friend, and then that's also your chance to open up, or call someone you want to talk to. That's a great chance to open up and start to process some of those difficult feelings. Finally, number 7, one thing that really has helped me a lot with emotional eating and getting that in check is never binge again. This is Dr. Glenn Livingston's program. He has a free book. He has lots of different resources, and basically the idea is to create a healthy food plan for you that is actually nutritionally sufficient, calorically sufficient, balanced. And if you're coming from a disordered eating background, or you don't have a lot of experience with nutrition and healthy diet, then this might be a good thing to reach out to a coach or nutritionist to make sure that your food plan is actually realistic. So create a food plan and also create some boundaries around food for yourself, like that you don't eat after 6 p.m. or you don't eat oil. Like have some kind of hard and fast rules. And Dr. Glenn talks about how to do that in a healthy way. So I really recommend creating that for yourself. It's best when you create it yourself so that it's actually healthy, it's actually sufficient, and it's not someone else telling you, oh, you have to eat this or you have to eat that. It's coming from you, so it's realistic and it's doable. Of course, I also want to say we're talking about difficult feelings. If you are having suicidal thoughts, ideas, wanting to harm yourself or harm someone else, you should definitely, talk to someone about that. Talk to a therapist, get some help. Medication can be helpful. I've been on it in the past. It's been helpful during times of crisis, but it's not something that I use currently to deal with difficult feelings when they come up. I do my best to be with them, to feel them fully. Use Reiki to help me move that energy. That's really like the best tool I can offer you, but all the rest are really, really helpful, and they're like my go-to toolkit for how to cope. Now is not usually the time to just like meditate and be in your swamp of depression or anger or whatever. It can be more useful and more healthy usually to move that energy and not just identify with it or attach to it, really allowing it to flow through. We can talk more about that in another video because this is a very complex, deep topic. I think it's very rich and there's definitely more to say. So please comment down below, how do you deal with difficult feelings and emotional detox when you clean up your diet? What has helped you? What are you struggling with? I'd love to have more of a conversation with you about that. Please like this video if you like it, subscribe for more videos. Also check out my 2 free ebooks down below, one with raw food Ayurveda recipes and tips for your dosha, and the other one is all about Reiki. Thank you so much for watching. Much love to you. Namaste.